On this episode of From the Core, we spotlight a kid who warms the hearts and feet of other kids.
We bug out at Mosey.
And we tell you about a leader that became a legend.
All of these stories and so much more, right here on From the Core. Hello, and welcome to From the Core. I'm Natalie.
Hi, I'm Swetha. Just so you know, Natalie and I represent the Mayor's Youth Corps class of 2011.
What that means to you is that the faces may have changed, but the mission of From the Core is the same.
Informative, life-enriching stories from a teen perspective.
With that said, let's get right to it.
Jay is at the TIS desk and has a few things to share with you.
Thanks, Natalie and Swetha. Hi, I'm Jay, and I'm here with the TISC, which stands for Thought You Should Know. I've got the latest in science, civics, and scholarship opportunities. Did you know that the largest organism on Earth is a honey mushroom? This mushroom can be found in eastern Oregon in the Mount Hira National Forest. It occupies 2,384 acres, which is about the size of 1,665 football fields. It is considered one organism because it is connected by one root-like system. The city of Tampa has several colors and symbols which represent the city's multinational heritage. The red and gold of the flag represents Spain's influence upon Florida. The British Union Jack, the red, white, and green of Italy, and the French tricolor were used to portray the countries that contributed to the growth of Florida. And the flag holds the Stars and Stripes of the United States of America, which are represented in the colors red, white, and blue. The official seal of the city of Tampa, superimposed on a blue T, commemorates the official birth of the city of Tampa in 1855. For all of you avid community service participants, this scholarship is for you. Discover Financial is offering scholarships for any high school junior who demonstrates accomplishments in community service and leadership and has faced a significant roadblock or challenge. Please visit www.discoverfinancial.com and click on the Community Affairs link for more information. For more information about anything featured on this month's TISC, please go to tampagov.net and click the Video on Demand button in the bottom right corner of the screen. From there, you will be able to find this show by clicking the Programs on Demand feature. It's been real. I'm Jay, and I just thought you should know. Over to you, Swetha.
I know you have all heard someone say how important it is to keep in mind those less fortunate. I've got a question. Do you keep the less fortunate in mind? If you do you do anything to help your fellow man? Well, FTC reporter Jake interviewed someone who actually did something, a big something, to help the less fortunate. Here's the story.
Here at Metropolitan Ministries, Jacob Rice, founder of Shoe Giver of Tampa, is here to distribute some shoes to those less fortunate.
Who is first in line?
Children enter through the door and catch glimpses of the shoe-filled crates that cover the tables. Jacob reviews his list as the kids look on anxiously. They may not know exactly why they are here, but they have been told they will receive a new pair of shoes. Upon asking Jacob why he decided to start an organization like Shoe Giver of Tampa, he had this to say.
When I was 10, I was inspired by another kid who had done something similar with school supplies. And what he did was stuff backpacks with different school supplies that kids needed and then gave them away to different organizations like Metropolitan Ministries. And so I called the CDC, which is the Corporation to Develop Communities. And what the CDC told me was that there was a strong need for shoes in the community of East Tampa. So that's how I got started with Shoe Giver of Tampa.
This is Lexiani, a young girl who, thanks to the Shoe Giver, is receiving a brand new pair of white sneakers today. The need for shoes is not just local, however. According to shoesforhumanity.org, if the world were a village of 100 people, 40 would not have a pair of shoes. This is a global issue that demands attention, and Jacob is doing his part to help raise the level of awareness.
It's one of those things, just like you would say for food. Everyone knows that people need food if they don't have enough money to buy it. Same thing, you need shoes to walk around that keep your feet safe from sharp objects, whatever it is. So shoes are a necessity. So it's something that I think awareness will come as time progresses, same way it has for food. Now let's try these on.
For newcomers like this young man, a pair of shoes will be given the next time Jacob comes, after his shoe size is measured today.
That's going to be too small. All right, so here's what we'll do. I'm going to write your name down, okay, and your shoe size. And next time I come, which will be in like 2 or 3 weeks, I'll get for you a new pair of shoes. Is that okay?
Throughout the course of
All right,
5
take off
years,
your red
Jacob
shoe
has
for me so I can
changed the
measure you.
lives of countless children with his giving heart and his determined mind.
I never get tired of giving because when I come here and I see, you can see I have like all these kids that are waiting to get shoes. You never get tired of seeing a kid smile after you hand them a brand new pair of Nikes or Adidas or whatever it is. And so I want to keep coming back until and after I fulfill my goal, because I know that there will always be a need for shoes. And so I want to do everything that I can to help. And it's really gratifying to see a kid smile after you hand them a new pair of shoes.
This is Jake Pinella reporting for From the Core.
There you go.
If you want to find out more information or learn how to donate to Jacob's cause, visit shoegiveroftampa.com. Jacob Rice's passion for giving sounds great to most people, but some have one burning question when they think about nonprofit organizations and the vast number of people that have come together for a common cause. That question is, why should I care? Joining me in the studio to talk about this issue is Alyssa Conte and Charles Wilson. Alyssa and Charles, thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
So Alyssa, is it our responsibility to involve ourselves in charitable causes?
Absolutely. I believe that we are the children who are going to, create the future, and we need to go out there and be able to experience things and become wiser to make a better future for ourselves.
Thanks, Charles.
Yes, I believe it's our responsibility to be active in our community. It not only helps the community, but it also helps ourselves to be more charitable and more of a well-rounded person. And I just think it's better for us to help others.
Do you feel that teenagers should be required through school or government to involve themselves in a service, or is that taking away someone's free will?
I think it should be a requirement, because honestly it's just going to help you more in the future. But I can understand where some people will find that taking away freedom, but in my opinion it would just make you a better person in the future.
I also agree with Charles. I believe that if it's required, it will really force teens to go out there and really see things, because, some will not take the initiative to go do it themselves. It'll really teach them.
Is it selfish not to participate in a cause?
I believe it's selfish if you never participate in a cause, but I do understand, people get caught up in things and they really don't think about it, but I believe that people should definitely take place in community service.
I agree with Alyssa. I understand if you have certain family conflicts or conflicts with your personal life, but it should definitely be a part of your life somewhere or somehow. Even if it's just for an hour or two each and every week, anything helps.
So you both believe that there are justifiable reasons for people not to give to organizations?
And like I said, to a certain extent, there could be not having the drive, or it could just be that it's not an ability for people. But I guess it's more of a half and half, because you never really understand a person's situation.
So should we respect the right of people not to give, or should we look down upon them?
I think everybody should always be accepted. There should never be judgment, but I believe that it should be required, as in the previous question. It should be required.
Thank you, Charles.
I don't think we should ever judge someone because they may have different circumstances than we do or what we're accustomed to. But I think we should just communicate with them and explain the values of community service and what we can bring about in our community.
So what types of causes should teenagers be involved in?
Definitely the causes that affect ourselves. Teenage pregnancy, drug use of teenagers, driving under the influence, and so on and so forth. I believe that we should also help other people outside of our own conflicts just to get the experience and to really understand, people as a whole and to understand people's problems. And so I feel.
So, Charles, how do you choose a cause to become involved in when there are so many organizations out there?
Anything helps. Personally, I go to the Metropolitan Ministries. I feel that's a big help for the people who are less fortunate than I am, and that they don't have a place to actually stay. So I feel they are very in need of service. So I try to go there at least once every week.
Thanks. So in a recent article in the Tampa Tribune edition, it talked about parents and teens working together to promote safe driving. How can we promote safe driving?
I believe that we can promote safe driving by making children experience it and talking to other teenagers who have been through these things, such as losing best friends due to driving under the influence and abuse of alcohol and drugs, because seeing is believing, and until you really experience something, I think it's hard to really understand it.
Like Alyssa said, I think education early is a big help. I know that personally for me, it was really eye-opening when I saw a video in class of some of the more dangerous accidents of what alcohol and what driving when you're not ready to drive can do for you.
Are teenagers mature enough to handle the responsibility of driving?
Definitely depends on the teenager, because I believe that some people take it seriously and some don't. I think that there should be more restrictions on the abilities that children have in driving or teenagers have in driving. But I think it really just depends on the person that you are, and again, education and really fully understanding the consequences of your actions.
Charles, is 16 the proper age to allow teenagers to drive, or should the requirement be older or younger?
I think the requirement should stay at 16, but it's ultimately the parent's decision on whether you drive or you don't drive. So I think the age limit is okay, but ultimately it's always the parent's decision.
Alyssa, why do so many teens get in accidents?
Well, teenagers have their heads all over the place, from social life to school, and I think that they really get caught up and they don't realize what they're doing when they do get caught in accidents. I believe just focus. People should be trained to focus and learn how to drive safely and be defensive drivers.
Charles, is safe driving the responsibility of the parent or the teenager?
I think it goes more like both ways. The parent should, when they first get their learner's permit, be promoting safe driving and what they should do, and give them tips on how they should drive and what to look for during certain situations. But it's also the teen's responsibility too to promote safe driving. Just because some other person maybe goofing around the car doesn't mean you should just follow them and goof around as well.
Alyssa and Charles, thank you so much for joining me today. The conversation has been quite stimulating. The second half of FTC will be here in 1 minute. Stay tuned. So guys, what do is safe driving?
Mom, I'm not gonna go to college.
What are you saying? You've got to go to college.
Well, they offered me a job and...
Son, college is much more important.
No.
Yes.
No, Mom.
Yes.
Anyways, it's my decision.
Okay, well then decide what degree you're going to get, because you will go to college.
Their tomorrow depends on your words today. The Hispanic Scholarship Fund has the information you need to help your kids go to college.
Welcome back. The state of Florida is a wonderful place to live.
The beaches, the weather, great seafood,
and the bugs.
Bugs?
Yes, bugs. Florida has a lot of them, and although you may not see an abundance of multi-legged creatures as a part of the Next Visit Florida campaign, Caitlin found some folks that think fondly about insects.
Bugs. You can find them creeping, crawling, flying, swarming, and buzzing everywhere, including Mosey. I'm at the museum's new exhibit, Harry's Big Adventure, My Bug World, to get a bug's eye view of the insect's environment. Let's go.
Mosey's Adrian Drew shows me that the Bugging Out exhibit is a multi-sensory experience that features a movie, artwork, and an exhibit that takes visitors on a unique journey to educate them about different ecosystems.
Most people think that bugs are scary and creepy crawly, and especially living in Florida, we tend to swat them away or step on them. And so the story is they developed this entire exhibit as a fun but yet educational piece for kids to enjoy because it's very interactive, but also for adults.
Harry's Big Adventure, My Bug World is an exhibit that is related to the Audubon Insectarium in New Orleans. They teamed up with Mosey to bring in different features, including tummy-tickling treats.
On the weekends, there is a bug chef that is here, and he cooks up all different types of food with insects.
Some of these dishes include chocolate-covered crickets, mealworm salsa, chocolate chirp cookies, and banana fritter pancakes with crickets in them.
The guests really enjoy, trying those items, and even if they're scared to try them, watching other people eat them and laugh at them. So it's different and it's interactive for them.
Not only does the exhibit teach about bug habitats, it also has an artistic side.
The Bugging Out experience features artwork titled Arranging Nature, the Insect Artistry of Jennifer Angus. Her work consists of real insects pinned directly to the wall and repeating kaleidoscopic patterns.
It's unlike anything I've ever seen.
The exhibit definitely helps teach about insects. Dana and Alana give me some examples of beneficial bugs.
Ladybugs, butterflies, and
Harry's Big Adventure, My Bug World gives us a different perspective on insects and takes the creepiness out of bugs.
It's fantastic just because, it shows insects are not just things that we want to kill and get rid of. They do actually play a part in our world. And by coming in and going through the exhibit and really seeing Jennifer's work too from what she created from the insects, I think people come in and then they leave with a different feeling towards bugs.
Well, I'm bugging out. This is Caitlin Hudeman reporting for From the Core.
The Bugging Out experience will be at Mosey until Tuesday, May 31st. For more information, visit their website at mosey.org.
Or you're in a bugging mood, you may want to stick around for our next story.
After the break, we'll be talking about a Native American leader that became a legend. Stay with us.
G-morning, sunshine. Wakey, wakey. You up? What'd you dream about? Me? JK. Text me back. I'll keep texting till you wake up. Are your parents home later? Is this something I did? Exclamation point. We're in a huge fight right now. This isn't a joke. Hello? Text me.
Hi, I'm Swetha, and thanks for staying with us. In this edition of FTC, we are starting a new segment called Unsung Superstars of History. Each month, a contributor and an anchor, such as myself, will sit down and discuss a man or woman that's had an impact on American history, but for some reason or another, this individual is not well known or well understood. Here with me to talk about our first superstar is Malik. So Malik, who's the one unsung superstar we should know about?
The one unsung superstar you should know about is Osceola, and he was one of the leaders of the Seminole tribe of Florida. I like to call him the rightful fighter. And the reason I like to call him the rightful fighter is because he fought for his people in the Seminole Nation with all his heart, and he believed that what was rightfully his should stay his.
What makes Osceola different from other Native American leaders?
Well, Osceola was born in the Creek tribe of Georgia, and at the time the Creeks and Seminoles weren't very good in relations, and they were basically forced to merge into one, the Seminole Nation, because of the threats the U.S. was posing against them. The fact that Osceola wasn't originally a part of the Seminole tribe was a key fact that stood out in my mind. And I thought, wow, even though he wasn't originally part of the Seminole tribe, he still fought for them. He was actually more involved in the Second Seminole War, and in that war he rose to power because of his guerrilla tactics, which were so advanced that the U.S. Army had never experienced it before.
Why is he fighting against the U.S. Army?
He was fighting against the U.S. Army to keep the land that the Seminoles were on at the time here in Florida, and he and his people did not want to give up that land, and the only way they were going to go was with the fight.
So, what sacrifices did Osceola have to make for his people?
A big sacrifice, which was actually personal, was he had to make a lot of sacrifices with family. He didn't get to spend very much time with them, and he also had to endure betrayal, and ultimately he had to sacrifice his life.
Why should teens recognize him as a hero?
I had to ask myself this question, and personally, I would say Osceola is a hero because he stood up for his people. If I was a person in their tribe and people were trying to take something very valuable away from me, and I had someone who was trying to protect it, I would think Osceola was a hero because he was just there protecting me and someone was fighting for me.
So what happened? Did he win?
At the end of the 7 years the Second Seminole War lasted, Osceola ended up making a treaty with the U.S. Americans. He didn't end up winning.
Did he die? What happened to him?
In the end, Osceola was taken to a fort in the north, and he actually died of a fever.
How have Osceola's past actions changed our future?
His past actions, for example, like fighting, I think because he did actually retaliate against the U.S., because of that, people wanted to research who is this brave person that, went against the U.S. And we have information now that we may not have had if he didn't take a stand.
Good job, Malik.
Thank you.
The only thing I associated Osceola with was a college football mascot. Thanks for the report. From the car, we'll be right back after this break.
There's a monster in my bathtub.
For a child with asthma, monsters are everywhere.
There's one on the couch. There's a monster on my bed. Please make the monsters go away.
Learn more at noattacks.org.
Here at From the Core, we believe that teens should have the ability to express their passions and ideas.
Some might call it a soapbox, but we call it a commentary.
Recently in the New York Times, author Patricia Lee Brown covered a controversial new act passed in California that angered many traditional Chinese citizens. The state of California placed a ban on the possession and sale of shark fins, hoping to decrease the act of shark finning and slow the disappearance of sharks from our oceans. The Chinese residents of California are upset, though, calling the new law a sort of Chinese Exclusion Act in a bowl. They say that if the shark fin soup became illegal, it would destroy the popularity of their restaurants and eliminate tips for the waiters. The new Californian law doesn't fully end shark finning, though, because of a loophole. Californians are still able to import shark fins from Mexico and China. Most people don't fully understand the devastating effect shark finning has on the ocean. Finning is responsible for killing over 90% of sharks. Also, the act of finning is incredibly gruesome. The fishermen pull the sharks out of the water, hack off all their fins, and throw them back into the ocean where it takes days for them to finally die. They either drown, because sharks need to swim to keep a steady flow of water over their gills, or are eaten alive by other fish. An entire animal is killed for only 5% of its body, all for a simple bowl of soup. If sharks were to become extinct, no amount of hypothetical figuring could predict the devastation to all of the ocean's balance. For example, large shark populations such as the tiger and blacktip shark have been almost entirely eliminated along the United States East Coast. In their absence, there has been an exponential increase in small sharks, rays, and skates that eat shellfish at a rate that can no longer be maintained. Because of this, there's been a reduction of water quality because of the lack of water-filtering shellfish that once thrived along the East Coast. In order to protest against the annual killing of over 100 million sharks, Alice Newstead, a British performance artist, hung her body by shark hooks dug into her back. She hung by those 2 hooks for hours in front of an entire crowd to give a voice to sharks. While she spoke up for the important issue, many people still don't know that shark finning is even a problem. Others, like Newstead, create videos, make t-shirts, and write articles to speak out against the slaughter of these misunderstood creatures. If they weren't portrayed in movies and newspapers as vicious man-eaters, would there be more of a reaction? Or are they only continually hunted because traditional soup outweighs the importance of an entire ecosystem? No matter the reason, this Shark Conservation Act, while angering many Californians, is the first major step towards the conservation of the world's most important predator and the ocean's greatest treasure.
That's our commentary for this month and the end of our show.
I know we shouldn't toot our horns, but this was a good show.
Wasn't it, though? Hats off to our guests, the FTC crew, and to all of you at home.
Adios for now, and remember,
wherever you are, whatever you are doing, always do your part.
Thanks for watching, and see you next month for another edition of
From the Core.